let's see, I'm going to write a letter to my pen pal. Dear pen pal, I was so excited to get your letter. It is so fun getting mail, and the picture that you drew was so cool. I hope that we can keep writing to each other, because being able to get mail and send mail is so much fun. What have you been doing? What is your favorite thing to do in the springtime outside? Write soon. From Shara. Hey everyone. I was just writing my pen pal, and I hope that you all have been writing to your pen pals too, because it's very fun to get letters in the mail, and everyone appreciates it. I know we've had some letters already arriving, and it's been a lot of fun to see the artwork that you've been working on and to read the letters that you've written. I'm going to move my desk out of the way now. I think we'll start out with our How Do You Do song. Well, hi, Ava.
Hello.
Well, hi, Amelia.
Hi.
Are you going to help me sing the How Do You Do song?
Yes.
And I'm sure you all remember the words, because we learned this song last week.
Yep.
This is my How Are You song. This is my How Do You Do song. And I'm so glad we are here. Sing along. This is my I Miss You song. This is my High Five to You song. And I'm so glad we are here. And you know, Turd and Bit will come to visit. And I'm so glad we are here. Let's sing it again. This is my How Are You song. This is my How Do You Do song. And I'm so glad you are here. This is my I Miss You song. This is my High Five to You song. And I'm so glad we are here. And we know Turd and Bit will come to visit. And I'm so glad we are here. Yes, I'm so glad we are. Thank you for joining us yet again. I'm going to scoot my chair closer. If everyone notices, Miss Amelia lost 2 teeth this week. My goodness. Very exciting. So we've had the tooth fairy visit twice. Very exciting, big deal. Hello, Kayla. Hello, Clara and Esther Lees. Kathy Schumann's here. Shout out to everyone who's joining us on this beautiful sunny Wednesday. Did anyone else notice how incredibly windy it was today?
Yeah.
I almost blew my front door off trying to open it. Yes. So I thought we could start off like we have before with what's outside your window tonight? So, oh, my mom and dad are here too.
Hey, Grandma.
Yay.
Hi.
So let's take a few seconds to go to our windows and look outside and see who's walking by, see what color cars that we notice driving by, see if there are any birds in the sky. We're going to go check, you go check, and report back. Amelia sees some cars. Ava, what do you see?
I see my dog.
Amelia sees the dog at Rome. Ava, what do you see?
I see grass.
Is it green?
Yes.
Let's go back and tell everyone what we found outside. All right, we're back. So we noticed the grass was very green.
I saw my dog.
We saw our dog, Buddy. Gramps sees the slab working on a cool cabin for us to enjoy, and it's coming together beautifully. What else did we see? I saw a lot of people parked across the street at the church that's across the street from us.
Yeah.
The Esterlys see a bonfire, trampoline, cars, dogs walking by. Chickadees are in the trees. Awesome. Let's see. Kayla sees the backyard with a fence around it. It's probably, do you have any animals out there? Little squirrels walking around? Kathy Schumann sees robins in the tree.
Nice.
Isn't springtime just wonderful? Everything's turning green and everything's starting to grow. We noticed a lot of things growing on our walk today.
We
It
found
was
the first
awesome.
dandelion.
Yes, Ava was
Ava,
excited.
We found lots.
She loves dandelions. And so she picked all of them and smelled them, and then her nose got yellow, and it was very cool. So we are in what is considered Holy Week. It's the week leading up to Easter. And there are 3 very important days that we celebrate during this week. The first one is actually tomorrow. It's called Maundy Thursday. The second one is on Friday. It's called Good Friday. And then the third one is Easter Sunday.
Yay, Easter.
Yay, Easter! Yes, hello, Wendy. I'm glad you're out here. We're going to be doing our art showcase in a little bit, so you haven't missed it. I have a few works of art that I'm going to be showing everyone that has been sent to me. Come join us, Amelia. I don't like whispering while we're doing our YouTube event. So who is going to be going on an Easter egg hunt on Sunday? Because we bought our Easter egg die, and I got a few fun things that I'm going to be hiding around the house for the girls. And we love to go explore and find all that stuff. So who else? Raise your hand or give a hello, I am. Who's going to be hunting for Easter eggs on Sunday? That's one of the fun things about Easter is being outside. Yay, Wendy is. Kayla, I'm sure you will be. Awesome. Very fun. So as I was saying, we talk about those 3 very important things that are going on this week. Claire is going to be out there hunting for eggs too. And we're going to be learning about all 3 of them tonight. We are going to be learning about Maundy Thursday. We are also going to be learning about Good Friday. And then there's going to be Easter Sunday. We are going to be starting with a little skit. Amelia, I need you. A little skit from Turt and Bit. So I'm going to turn our camera so we can see our little Turt and Bit and see what they're up to today. Let's get situated. Oh, there's Turt. There's Bit. Awesome. I'm glad to see them both here today. Okay. Come on, Amelia. Turt and Bit time. Come on. Can you go over there? Yes, please. Go around the other way maybe so you don't run into each other. Okay. So we start.
Hi.
Turt! Turt, did you get my text message about Maundy Thursday? Oh, sure. I got your message. Well, did you pick up the food I asked for? You know, the food for our communion remembrance? Well, I sure did. We are going to have an epic feast. What? But that's not what I was thinking, Turt. Maundy Thursday is the day on Holy Week when we remember Jesus meeting with his disciples for one last supper before his arrest and his death on the cross. It's a quiet time to remember what he said to his closest friends. Well, exactly. It's a celebration. Okay. So, did you bring the bread like I asked you to? Well, I did go to the grocery store and I bought some stuff. I got us some donuts. Oh, well, that's good. And some sushi, but I'm not really looking. And more sushi. Well, I'm not. And a pineapple, but I wasn't. And ice creams here too. Yes, but I was actually looking for. And we have more sushi. And we also have a cupcake, but Turt, and bananas, and more sushi. But Turt, really, I wasn't looking for that type of thing. And I know how much you love ice cream. Oh, Turt, listen, this food looks great, but this is not a party type of celebration that we're working on here. I asked for bread because during his Last Supper with his disciples, Jesus said, "Take this bread and eat. Do this to remember me." And then Jesus took a cup and he gave thanks and he said to the disciples, "Drink this. It represents my blood, which is poured out for the forgiveness of sin." I wanted to share bread and I wanted to share wine with you to remember Jesus' Last Supper and remember how he died on the cross to forgive our sins. Well, I know, Bit, and I'm thankful to be here with you tonight. Here's the wine that you asked for. Oh, thank you. And the bread? Oh, yeah. I brought the bread all right. Oh, my goodness, Turt. You sure did bring the bread. That's crazy. It's so much. Well, I thought it wouldn't hurt. Thank you, Turt. All right. That was a big loaf of bread. But you all remember, and every time we do communion at church, we always have bread and wine or grape juice. And those things are a remembrance of when Jesus had that supper with the disciples. And Maundy Thursday is when we celebrate that Last Supper that Jesus had with his disciples before he was arrested and brought to trial. And so Turt and Bit helped us learn a little bit about the importance of our communion time together. And what's awesome about that story of the Last Supper is that anytime we break bread or anytime that we eat together, we can always think of Jesus and remember that he was here and he gave his life for to allow us to be freed from sin and to allow us to have a personal relationship with God. And it's a pretty wonderful thing to have that physical reminder that he is always with us and he did something so wonderful by sacrificing himself. So thank you for Turt and Bit for doing that. Mm-hmm. I'm glad to see that you all are still with us. Now we're going to do a little Find It in the Bible. This next section is going to be about the Good Friday part of this week. Okay, so if you remember, last week we talked about how there are 4 Gospels that are in the Bible. What testament are they in, Ava?
The new one?
Yep, they are in the New Testament, so the second part of the Bible. And last week we read about the story in Matthew about Palm Sunday. This week we are going to be going to the gospel, the other gospel that starts with the letter M, which would be which one, Ava?
Mark.
We need to find the book of Mark in the New Testament. So I'm going to get my book out. Matthew is first, then we have Mark. So turn to the book of Mark in the New Testament. And we are heading to chapter 15. And it starts about, this is after Jesus had supper with his friends. And one of his disciples, Judas Iscariot, betrayed Jesus in exchange for a bag of money. He told basically the Roman soldier or the soldiers where Jesus was, and that's what got Jesus arrested. And Jesus was brought to town and met with Pontius Pilate, who was a chief or a judge. And there was a whole group of people that had wanted Jesus to be crucified or to be killed because they were saying that he was trying to cause riots, that he was trying to stop people from listening to the government or paying their taxes. And so they were getting worked up, and they were trying to get Jesus killed because they were afraid of the message that he was sending to people. So if you're at Mark, we're going to be reading Mark 15, verses 1 through 40. So it's quite a few verses, but I'll paraphrase for you, and we can talk about it when we're done. So very early in the morning, the chief priests, the elders, the teachers of the law, everyone gathered and handed Jesus over to Pilate, the judge. And Pilate said, "These men are saying that you claim to be the king. What do you say to that?" And Jesus said, "That's what you just said." And Pilate said, "I don't see anything that you have done wrong. I don't think that you have any reason to deserve to die. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to flog you or beat you with whips, and I will let you go." But the people said, "No, we don't want him to just be whipped and let go. We want him to die." Ooh, scary. They were so upset with Jesus' message of love and helping others, and they thought that it was going to bring about this bad change, that they wanted him to die. They wanted his message to die. And Pilate was like, there's nothing, this guy hasn't done anything wrong. And the people said, "Well, you know what? We want you to kill Jesus and let one of the other prisoners go instead." And Pilate was like, "What? Okay." So Jesus was sentenced to die. He had a very heavy cross that he had to put on his back and walk all the way through town and all the way up the mountain to where the crucifixion was going to be. And they nailed nails through his wrists and through his ankles, and they raised the cross up so he was hanging there. And there were people gathered all around. His mother was there, his disciple friends. It was a very hard time for them. And Jesus struggled with this at this point, but he knew that God would take care of him, and he knew that it would be okay, even though he knew he had to die. That's the story of Good Friday. It's a hard story to hear. I'd like you all to spend some time together talking about what we were just learning about the trial of Jesus and his death, and then get back to me about what stood out to you, or what you thought was most interesting, or what you thought was not right, if you felt there was something wrong in how that happened. So talk together with your mom and dad, your grandma, grandpa, your sisters, brothers, family, and talk about how that story of Good Friday made you feel. I'll play a little bit of music, and when you have something that you want to comment on, write it in the comments. And all right. Ava.
Yes.
Ava, how do you want to share anything you feel about the story of Good Friday? What we were just talking about?
Well, the guy named whatever his name is.
Pontius Pilate, the judge? Yep.
Yes, so he didn't think that Jesus had to be killed.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
The judge said Jesus was innocent. There was no reason for him to get killed. That's a very good observation. Anything else? I see on the comments that people are talking about the cross. Yes, the cross said the King of the Jews on it. They wrote that on there. That was also a way that the soldiers were mocking Jesus by saying, "Oh, you call yourself the King of the Jews. We'll put that on your cross." That's loud. People found the nails that crucified Jesus. That's interesting. Clara says that it made me sad because they wanted to kill Jesus. Yes, the story of Good Friday is always really hard for me to read because of how many people wanted him gone. And it's strange for us to hear that. My mom, Kathy, says, I'm sure Jesus' disciples were confused by all this and were very sad. That's a good point. Imagine being one of Jesus' close friends or followers and not understanding what is happening or why their friend is being willing to die instead of trying to claim his innocence. Yeah, so a lot of things to think about with this story. It is a very dark, sad day. Yes. And it would continue to be a dark, sad day, except for that 3 days later, something crazy happened, which turned the world upside down. Yes, Ava?
If it's called Good Friday, why is it sad? Because it's good.
That's a good question. That is worth kind of a research topic to find out why we call it Good Friday. If any of you know the reason behind Good Friday, please let me know. Maybe we'll send Pastor Neil an email and say, any idea why we call it Good Friday? So, like I was saying, Friday, if Jesus had died and that had been that, it would have been a sad time. But Easter, Sunday, that's the day of celebration. That's the day that we get together and celebrate and sing songs and find joy. And why are we celebrating Easter? What's the big news on Easter?
Bunnies.
Not bunnies. Let's try it again. What's the big news on Easter?
Jesus died.
Not on Easter. He died on Good Friday.
I know.
What's the big news on Easter, Amelia?
God came back to life.
Yes! Jesus came back to life. He is risen. It's an amazing story. Mary and some other women went to his tomb 3 days after he died, and the rock had been rolled away, and there was no one in the tomb. And a vision appeared to them that said, "Why are you looking for the living among the dead?" Jesus had come back from the dead, just as he said. God brought him back. He is risen indeed. So if you were a part of our craft time on Monday, we did a thing we found different dried flowers and branches, and we used those as our art tools to do some paintings. Now, I decided in one of our pictures that we worked on, I wrote, "He is risen." It's a celebration. It's bright. It's life, because Easter is about Jesus coming back and fulfilling the prophecies and giving us freedom. So this one was my work that I worked on. We also have Ava's. It's a fun and colorful one. And then Amelia, she got really creative and actually got her fingers involved in the painting too. So hers is bright and green. Now I'm going to show you some of the other artwork that I received this week. Once again, I'm doing it on the iPad, but that's okay. That's effective. So this one is Clara's. Clara has this awesome artwork. And then her mom she showed me what tools she used. So you can see that she used some sticks that she found outside in her yard. Isn't that cool? I think Clara did such a nice job with that. So colorful and bright. And then I was talking to Wendy this week, and she did a different little craft, but it's a super cool Easter bunny. Sorry about the reflection here. but it's made out of strips of paper, and then she colored it in with marker. A fun idea. Wendy might have to share the instructions on that. She said she found a YouTube video about it or something like that. But I thought that was super cute. Now, you all still have time if you want to work on this art project or do something different. But what's so great about Easter is it's such a bright time of celebration that if you want to make a big poster that says he is risen, or a interesting, colorful cross, or the tomb with the big boulder being rolled away, definitely do some artwork, and then you could decorate your Easter tables this Sunday with them. Or you could do your own Easter hunt with paper crosses that you can hide around the house or something like that. But what I liked is that our artwork today was talking about Sunday, when Jesus came back to life and fulfilled the prophecies and brought joy to a very hard time in history. So I feel like it's about time to get up and move. Should we do our get up and move song?
Yeah.
Should we? Amelia, you gonna get up and move with us? Let's do our get up and move song. I'm gonna scoot this a little closer. Scoot my chair back. Alrighty. All right. All right, here we go. It's time to get up out of your chair. Time to move your body. Time to put your arms up high, reaching for the sky. Then you bend down low and touch your toes. Come on, everybody. Come on and move your body. Now we'll do some frog hops. Hippity, hippity hop. Now we'll march like we are in a parade. Then we'll do some jumping jacks. Come on now, everybody. Come on and move your body. It's time to get up out of your seat. Time to move your body. Bring your arms up in the air. Wave out like you just don't care. Then you bend down low and touch your toes. Come on, everybody. Come on and move your body. Now we'll hop like a frog. Hippity, hippity hop. Now we'll march like we are in a parade. Then we'll do some jumping jacks. Thank you, Ava, for helping me remember the words to our move song. And now we're gonna end it like this. I thought I was gonna get the words this time. Oh well. No. Thank you for joining us for that. Looks like Wendy gave a little instruction. Please close your mouth. Gave a little instruction about how to make the bunny rabbit. You just scribble on a piece of paper, cut them into strips, tape them together. Awesome. Very good. Well, I'm glad to see that you have all joined us tonight. That is wonderful. I want to say a word of prayer, and then I'm going to end with one more song. I want this to be our new goodbye song. Before we do our prayer, so this next song was written by my sister, Katie. I think it was a while ago. It was back when we were kids, but I remember singing it with her all the time when we were younger. And it's just a happy springtime song. And she said that she wrote it on the day that she brought home her new horse, Sheba. And I remember Sheba. We had some horses when we were younger. And she was so excited about this horse that she just had to sing a song, burst for joy. And the song, I think, is just such a great way to kind of end our time together. So I'm going to say a quick word of prayer, and then we're going to sing our last song. I did email the words to you, but they're pretty easy to catch on to. So if you will join me in a word of prayer. Dear Lord, thank you that we can be together even when we're apart. This time has been a very big change in all of our lives, but we know that we have our friends and family and you that we can go to for support and help when we're feeling stressed or uncertain. Help us to enjoy Holy Week, even though it might feel different from other years. Help us to remember everything that your son Jesus went through when he was on earth, and that he knew these changes in his life were coming, but he still kept his focus and his faith on you, Lord, and help us to do the same. And all God's children said, Amen. So now we're going to sing the song called With You. The clouds are in the sky, but they are not as high as I am. The frogs, they hop and hop, and they never stop like me. I think of all the things I've done and all the things to do. It's so good to be alive. It's so good to be alive with you. Let's try it again. The clouds are in the sky, but they are not as high as I am. The frogs, they hop and hop, and they never stop like me. I think of all the things I've done and all the things to do. It's so good to be alive. It's so good to be alive with you.
Hi.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us again tonight. I really love getting your comments. I really miss you all. I just want to remind parents and kids that tomorrow we have a Zoom video conference scheduled for 6:15 before the Maundy Thursday service. And so I will be sending out an email that will allow you to become a part of that if you so choose to. And then we can see each other's wonderful faces and say hello in virtual person at least. So keep an eye out, parents, in your emails for the link to the video conference for tomorrow at 6:15. And kids, you make sure to have one item with you during our Zoom conference that you can show and tell. So we'll each have a show and tell item for our video conference tomorrow at 6:15. I miss you all. I can't wait to see you all tomorrow, so please join us at 6:15 tomorrow. Take care. We miss you. Go in peace and serve the Lord. He has risen.
Goodbye.
Bye.